Hey everybody, welcome to Space Engineers. We put up a few videos for it. We have started a new game, God, a little while ago. I want to say about a month ago, maybe a little bit more. Red Text will know, he'll let us know what's going on. So we were just having, we had reached Mars. We'd left the Earth-like planet. We had gotten to the moon. We had reached Mars, and it just, once in the regular game, one of the big problems was is that our pirates had quit spawning, so that was a big issue. So once we got to Mars and all, and there was no kind of competition, it was just basically continuing to build and stuff, and uh, and not really having much competition, much adversarial to do. It was just a matter of building and stuff, which is fun. But it's more fun to have a bit of a threat or anything, as you would imagine. If you've seen my recent Deep Rock Galactic video where I went down in the mines. Mining is fun, but whenever you got to fight against insects and aliens on your way in and your way out, it's more fun. So we started a new game, backed up the old game and started a new one. And I've got still a lot of videos to show y'all from the old game. But we'll get around to that at some point in time. And this one, we're using a couple of mods we've thrown in. One of them is Industrial Overhaul, which adds a lot of tiers. It's kind of like if you played Minecraft and used to stuff like Forge, used to stuff like Better Than Wolves, things that add in layers of crafting tiers that you have to work your way through. That's the way this is, because you'll see over here some items that you don't see in the vanilla game, like your assembly bench here and your rock crusher that you can put rock into. Put regular stone in it, you get gravel, and if you put ores in it, it crushes them down into crushed ores, so that your refineries get an extra 50% yield out of it. It's kind of like a industrial scale Minecraft macerator from some of the technical builds that you get in Minecraft. And this right here is our mining station, our current mining station. This is one of the rovers that I built. It's been beaten up a little bit from its travels and all. It's lost part of its bumper. It's the Henny class, as you see there. I named it after Sonia Henny because you'll notice one of the things is until you get oil and can process oil sands into oil, which you process into plastics and synthetics and rubber and things like that, you have to use these metal rover wheels, which don't have nearly the strength or the power, the speed, or the control when you're driving across territory like ice. So we're skating around on this ice a lot. If you try to turn too quick or stop too quick, you go skating across the ice and sometimes spin out. So I thought, spinning across ice on metal blades, we're going to name this after Sonia Henny. Also being the fact that it comes after my first one that I've used the truck cabs on too. It's comes from also Car Talk, the Car Talk guys, Click and Clack, if you remember that show back in the day. Tom and Ray Magliozzi. One of their favorite oaths and exclamations when something happened. They'd go, "Sonia Henny's tutu." And indeed, so that's the Henny. Just back on to that now, but yeah. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh yes, here is this is the first of our mining stations, because one of the things that this particular mod does, the Industrial Overhaul mod, is it makes just checking my food. Yes, we've got got the daily needs mod in here as well. So as you see, we need make sure we keep drinking water and food in our inventory as well, because we have to drink and we have to eat, And while we don't have to sleep, if you see the bars up there, you got your hunger bar, your thirst bar, and your fatigue bar, essentially. You do have to, you can't just run and run and run infinitely like we have in the past, because you will wear that fatigue bar down to nothing, and then you start using tons and tons and tons more food and taking damage and all. But this is our first, the Industrial Overhaul. One of the things it does is it spreads out ores. It makes ores harder to find. They aren't as common as they are in like regular Space Engineers. They're spread out a lot more. But when you do find, they're deeper, as you see. But when you do find them, they're much larger. I mean, this goes on for like probably half a kilometer in different directions and stuff. It's huge. And this ore here is bauxite, which is what you make aluminum from. And you say, aluminum's not in the game. Well, it is with the Industrial Overhaul mod. You've got a bunch of new ores that you have to find. But aluminum here is one, and aluminum is one of the things that, interior plates. Remember, there are two foundations for every build you make. You got the mostly exterior builds and machinery and stuff that uses steel plates that's made from iron. And then you've got the interior stuff like interior walls and couches and aquariums and all that kind of stuff that's made from interior plates, which in the regular game is made from iron. But here in this game, interior plates are made from aluminum. So you have to find aluminum deposits. And we found a bauxite deposit. We found a nice one here. So what we're doing is I am busy building an elevator so that we can get Minecraft's Mindfiend's drilling rover, drive it up on here, and then lower it down to the bauxite deposit, and then have a proper mine where he can just drive around underground with his driller and empty the thing out. So you see, we're quite busy cutting all this out. We've still got to get over in this section and all, but we've been busy moving this driller mostly from Mindfiend's suggestion of. Originally I was hollowing it out by hand, and I got down to basically just through this ice layer you hear to the rock, hollowed out by hand, and then he suggested throwing a drill on the bottom of the platform. I had this all laid out, the big metal platform here to test out, make sure it was big enough to get the rovers and the drills on. So I put a drill on it instead, and then we ended up piping the drill in and piping the top of the pistons over here into our complex. And he has set up a bunch of one-directional sorters and things, so that any of the rock now just goes straight over here and straight to the refinery, so it can be refined down into silicon and copper and iron and whatever the fourth one is that I can never remember. And then, but yeah, that's what the stone does. And then the actual ores, like the bauxite, goes into the rock crusher to be crushed down into crushed bauxite, and then go into the refinery to get the extra yield out of it. And then the ice, any of the ice that we get out of it, goes just straight into the large container here. And as you see, we are down here. We're just a very short way from the South Pole. We are down in the polar ice cap on the southern end of the planet, and this is where it spawned us. We'll go over to our home base where we actually spawned in here very shortly. We built kind of highway to get back and forth. The terrain between it is complicated enough that we wanted to make sure we could find the easiest path back and forth. So yeah, so that's what we've got going on here, is the bauxite. I'll show y'all right quick what we've been doing. Now that we've drilled that, it goes down. There's a piston here, there's a drill, and then actually we could quit building this piston. We could quit building this piston now too. That's going to help out. And just move the drill every time. And when we do that, we will, the way we were doing it, we were lowering that piston, lowering this piston, and then half of that piston. But if we get rid of that one, we can just drop 2.5 pistons down into it. And that'll work just as well. And all I have to do is keep drilling out the drill instead of a drill and a piston that we rebuild. Because what I'll do now is I'll take off the drill, I'll take off the piston, I'll grind this off, we'll put a straight one here instead, and then we'll put an angle going down, and then I'll just put the drill on the bottom instead of the piston and the drill, and then we'll drop it 2.5 pistons down, and we'll be down here to where this flat area is, where we're making room for the vehicle lift to come down. And this big hole here shows just how deep. If I dropped all 5 pistons, this shows you how deep down into the ground it can actually get. It can go quite a ways. All right. So that's an idea. That'll make things easier. Let's drive back over to home base now. You'll also notice a unusual looking battery here as well. That's sitting there almost fully discharged. This is an acid battery. The standard batteries that you see on the vehicles are your that's the other thing, lithium batteries. Because they've got 3 different battery types right now. The standard battery here that you get from the vanilla game of space engineers is now called a lithium battery. And yes, you have to find lithium in order to make these batteries. And we have not actually found any yet. The way we've been getting these is by going to the signals. You've seen me fly out to the unknown signals, or whatever they're called, and looting them. Well, now they've got various kinds of loot on them, but one of the most important things is every single one is powered by a little battery cell, which has 2 lithium cells inside of it. And I'm going to turn on the grinder right quick just to show. As you see right here, this one needed 20 lithium power cells. So this took finding 10 of those unknown signals and looting them and grinding them down to have enough lithium cells to build this lithium battery. I said this is your standard regular Space Engineers battery with one difference. As you see the Industrial Overhaul, as you see, it's got copper wire, it's got basic computers, advanced computers, lithium power cells, a lot more stuff than just steel plates and construction components and crap. But when you grind them down, you remember the old batteries, you grind them down, and the power cells, just the generic power cell that you built in the assembler without any kind of special equipment or anything in it, you lost the power cells. The power cells just turned into iron. With the lithium power cells here, you get the power cells back. So I could grind this battery down and use it and rebuild another one because I would get all the power cells back. So that's another reason why we need to find lithium somewhere. But until you get lithium, you can build acid batteries. And the acid battery here, as you see, the same kind of thing, but it's made from acid power cells. And instead of 20, you need 100. And the other thing is it doesn't, as you see, simple sulfuric acid battery. So you got to have acid power cells, which you need sulfur for, which is yet another one. And as you see, 75% charging efficiency. It'll only hold 75% of the charge that a regular lithium battery will. And then there's a lower level, which is an alkaline power cell, which think of your regular old non-rechargeable batteries that you used to put inside of your toys and stuff on Christmas, and then when the battery was dead, you threw the battery away. That's an alkaline power cell. And you can build those too, and those, you can't recharge them, and you don't get the power cells back. It's just when you grind them down, like I don't think you get the acid power cells back here either if you were to grind it down. which makes the lithium cells lithium batteries even more important and valuable to have around. But the acid and the alkaline batteries, you don't get the parts back either. So, yeah, it's been quite the interesting experience having to learn the tech tree here, and learn. For instance, like I said, we've been playing probably a little over a month now. We've been playing here, and you notice we're running around in rovers because we haven't even built our first flying machine yet. I think over on the original FiendCorp server that I've showed y'all remember Janus, and when we took the Folly up in space, I think it was a little over a month, maybe a month and a half, when we had built the Janus and had actually launched into space and built our first space station. Here, we haven't even built our first flying machine yet because we don't have the technology or the ores and stuff to do it. So, Mindfiend and I have both talked about on several times that it's a situation of when you get stuff in this particular mod, you really, really, really feel like you've earned it. Let's turn all the lights and everything on. Let's turn the battery off of charge. I had it on charge because otherwise it'd be like the acid battery cell over there. This particular mining complex, these crushers and refineries will suck the power out of any battery that you happen to hook up to it. You have to be careful about that. You'll probably wonder about the flame that you see. Let me hop out again, put the parking brake on. I wonder about the flame. This is actually part of the navigation system. In role-playing terms, these are like, if you've seen, we got a big oil sand deposit over there. So I look upon these as towers burning off methane and stuff like that. And that's why you got the fire, just like on old oil rigs and oil refineries and stuff. You've got the big fires burning off the methane and all. So that was my role-playing. But in non-role-playing, you just follow them back and forth. This is my highway markers. We're going to pick up that unknown signal while we're going by too, and I'll show you how important they are. So yeah, this is how you get back and forth across relatively even ground that's safe for the rover to drive across. It's Silver Boulder there. That's a lot more safe for the rover to drive across than trying to pick my way out in the snow and in the snow and darkness and all. And I also made sure that you can follow one to the other from in the cockpit for when you're wanting to actually drive in the cockpit. As you see here, I made sure the beacons were tall enough and they're each half a kilometer apart, each 500 meters apart, so that I can find my way back and forth, from, in this case, the only place they go right now is from the bauxite mine back to home base, our temporary base, of course, because every base we build is temporary. And we've also just put a side branch off that goes over to the oil sands, because oil sands is where you get coal tar or oil tar, and that's what you refine down into oil, and then what you turn into synthetics and plastics and rubber. So we're going to finally get some rubber tires on this thing after skating around on the ice for a month. Oh, the other thing I've done with this one, turn this one on. If you're going to have a proper orange utility vehicle, you need some good warning flashers on it too. So we'll head back onto base, just to give you an idea. It's like a 6-minute drive to get from the bauxite back to base. As I've said, they made the ores much harder to find. We were looking for lithium. Fiend and I went out looking for a lithium deposit, and we drove all around the southern edge of the ice field here, and never did find any. We found some other, like I think we found a copper deposit and a silicon deposit, and you go through a lot of those too. A lot of copper for the copper wires, and which are necessary for electromagnets and heating elements and stuff like that. So that was nice finds, but we still haven't found lithium. So we're still very dependent on getting them out of unknown signals, which I'm going to fly over to right now. Let's see. Then I need to put down a marker here so I'll be able to find my way back. Let's remember it is Narlo number 3, and then we're going to fly out here to the signal. I had just about totally forgotten. You see the highway markers, our highway lights off there to the left. Let's get on down here and find out what is in the signal. Hopefully it's not going to be one of those that rolls or tries to get away from you. It's not. Let's find the button we have to push. There we go. We get any kind of skins? Yes, zebra boots. Zebra boots. Okay, I don't think I've had zebra boots before. Once again, I've talked about the fact that in my last 2 videos where I talked about Deep Rock Galactic, why does it seem like we're always miners? That's something Mindfiend and I need to check into. Why is it we're Minecraft, Deep Rock Galactic, Space Engineers, we're always digging. But yeah, the fact that you know, your skins and stuff like that, you earn in the game. Let's start cutting down these corner lights and find out what's in the inventory, the cargo container. We got the power kits. Those are from the regular game. Space credits. But a lot of them have lots and lots of food and stuff in it from the daily needs. There's animal meat, there's drinking water, cucumbers, tomatoes. And you can get seeds and fertilizer and that sort of stuff. And you can raise crops. Right now, you remember we're just using basically synthetic food. Right there, you know, it's artificial food, which is grown with water and gravel in the food processor. But you can use all these vegetables and stuff that we get, and you can make like hamburgers and luxury meals and tofu and all that thing. So we're going to grind this off. As you see, construction computers, aluminum plates, a good source of aluminum plates. Parachute hatch. All right, and there's the, whoops, there is the small lithium battery. And as you see, steel plates, advanced computers, construction components, basic computers, lithium power cells, 2 lithium power cells. These things are more than worth their weight in titanium, which is also a material you have to find now. One of my favorite things, you saw all the lights that were on it. Got 4 light bulbs. You have to build light bulbs too in order to build lights and things. So it's added quite a few tiers. Hey, let's see here. Where? Now, H. Trying to find my way back to, there we go, Narlo number 3. That's the one where I knew I was next to. I wouldn't have lost it because I knew it was over here next to one of the road lights, the highway lights, but I didn't know exactly which one, so I had to trust for a bit until I saw the lights blinking on the rover and found the Henny again. So we'll put all that stuff in inventory whenever we get back. Boom. In the meantime, let's cut the parking brake off. And let's get going further down the road here. And cut these back off. We don't really need them. I do leave this up just because this path here, this rover is powerful enough. And I meant to throw a whole bunch of ore. I meant to throw a bunch of processed iron in here whenever I left the base, but that's okay. I'm coming back to work the drill, so that's all right. But yeah, this thing, as you see, you can get going way too fast, especially at nighttime. These icy white sheets that you see out here look a little bit smoother than they actually are. You saw us catch a little air a little while ago. That is a danger here, because if you catch too much air, I blew this rover up once. Rolled it, caught too much air, I hit the ground, bounced, rolled it, and the large cargo container on it exploded all over the place. You see right there, this is the smoothest route that I found, but it's still not perfectly smooth, so you have to be a little careful. We should be coming up on the exit signs that I have. As you see, a tower off to the left, series of towers to the left, and then the towers that go straight on ahead here, because the oil sands are off to our left, which we'll see here in just a second. Let's get up to this tower, hit the brakes a little bit. See, it shows base straight ahead or turn left to go to the oil sands, and follow that series of torches. But we're not going to go that way because there's nothing at the oil sands yet except for a hole that we dug down just to grab some. And there's one of those red signs like that showing base and bauxite, and one on this one showing oil sands and bauxite. So, all depending on which direction you're coming from. We'll loop around the backside so I can kind of get to it and show how it is directional. Fortunately, these here, I put a turbine on each one. Once again, batteries are a hell of a lot harder to come across than turbines and stuff are. So there you go. You see that one says you go to the left to go to bauxite, go to the right, and follow that series of towers to get to the oil sands deposit. Since batteries and lithium are harder to find, it's a lot easier just to put a wind turbine on each and every one of these towers, and that powers the light on the side, the light bulb on the side. It powers any like LCD panels, like the ones that you saw, the directional ones. And it powers the beacon up top, which is actually one of the exhaust. The fire thing there is an exhaust block from the Wasteland DLC, the Wasteland expansion. As are, you'll see my semi here. I had to get into like the whole truck sim thing. My semi that I'm driving, the Rover, you'll notice it's got exhaust ports on either side there. Let me turn off the flashing beacons, and you can see that better. These exhaust ports, the big ones up there on the towers, are built to show flame, are set on the fire setting. These are set on the electrical arc setting, as you see the sparks that are coming out of them. Because I figure with them running on batteries, that it made sense for the exhaust coming off of the electrical engines to be just excess power sparking out at the top of the exhaust there. And if we ever put reactors, I'll have green reactor smoke. Or one of the things you can turn the coal sands into is gasoline, and then you can build gasoline motors. And at which point I'll put it, like a smoky car exhaust coming out of it. I'm really looking forward to the gasoline part. All right, we are almost back to home base. As I said, this is where our escape pods landed. Right here on the edge of the southern ice sheet, the southern cap. And I will go ahead and pull this up here. You see Mindfiend also has a rover off to the side there. Let's get out. He's got a rover over there. And as well as his drilling rig there, the Piranha. Now I'm going to use, for just a moment, I'm going to go into admin mode, and we're going to change the time of day so that we can get some sunlight on the issue here. There we go. We'll be able to see this. That's the other thing when you know we're the south. Look at the sun moving just along the horizon up there as it moves across. So we know we're down close to the South Pole. And we need to move northernly there. But we're going to fly up here. Let's go ahead and go. This is, as we like to say, our temporary base. One of the things you'll notice, look at all the turbines. Well, a large part of that is we just now getting to the point where we can make solar cells. And the turbines, especially down here, turbines don't put out as much power. That was one thing that the guy, I think his name is Clockwork, the modder who made the Industrial Overhaul mod, he said one of the things he didn't like was the fact that, you'll have in-stage factories of just basically processors and assemblers set up, and they'll all be powered off of like 2 wind turbines. And he said, that's not the way it works. He wanted a more realistic power solution. So they don't put out as much power when they're running at optimal speeds. And down here at the southern pole, our elevation's actually, the air here is actually thin enough. You'll see down there at the bottom, low oxygen and cold. The air here is actually thin enough that we don't get optimal power out of it. So I think we've got 12 or 13 of these. It's starting to snow, lovely. I think we've got 12 or 13 of these powering our base here, and even then we aren't able to keep more than just a couple of machines running at a time. All right, you see much different things, much more industrial processes. I think this is the synthetics factory that makes the plastics and the synthetics and the rubber and all, if I remember. This is our cement kiln. You put gravel and all into it, and you get concrete, cement and concrete out of it, which is necessary because some things use concrete blocks. This is the oil cracker. That's what you put the oil sands into to break it down into like crude oil. And then I think that's what you put the crude oil into to get like oil and fuel, I think, out of it. This is the chemical refinery, which you put the oil sands into to make it into crude oil. Over on this side, this is the synthetics loom that you put synthetic fabric into, or synthetic materials into, and it turns it into synthetic fabric. And then this is the microelectronics factory, which you need to make displays and basic computers and advanced computers. What else do we have here? Of course, we've got some hydrogen engines just in case we're running a few more pieces of machinery than the turbines won't power. Here we have the ceramics furnace, which you make glass and things out of. This is the plate stamp. That's what is used to turn aluminum into aluminum plates and steel into steel plates. Then your basic refinery. And then you have your extruder, and the extruder is how you make girders and things like steel tubes. So, yeah, quite the process here. And once you get it going, it really starts looking like you got an industrial base going on. That's how sprawling these places get. You don't just have a couple of refineries and a couple of assemblers and make everything out of them like you do in the base game. What else is new? These are emergency rations kits. These are whenever we first landed. When you first landed, you just put organics and gravel, or you put gravel and water in there, and it makes emergency rations, and they will keep you alive long enough to get around to building these, which is a food resequencer. See, look at all that stuff in there that it is cutting, and all those vegetables and meats and stuff that it's slicing into food for you. And a water recycler. As you see as you're going along, you might notice I've got gray wastewater. You can imagine what wastewater is in my suit. You know, so this right here recycles your wastewater into drinking water again. And the food resequencer over here is one of the things where you put like gravel and organic material and water into it, and you get artificial food out. Which is good, and it works fine and all, but it doesn't fill you up more than 50. So you want to eventually get around to making hydroponics cubes, hydroponics blocks that you'll use to like grow real food. That's how you grow your tomatoes and cucumbers and all. And over here is a crop grower, which you put fertilizer and seeds in, and then grow the actual crops and get fertilizer and seed back and stuff. So it's quite the complicated process too, to keep yourself alive. Keep yourself alive, keep yourself alive. All right, so there you go. This is, like I said, what we've been up to in Space Engineers. Mining, and building, and all that kind of stuff. And all. Assuming one of these allows you to make booze, we can be like space dwarves over here too. So, thought y'all might be interested in that. So that's where we've been. That's as far as we've gotten in like a month. We've been enjoying it. And you see there, that's the only completed tower. Eventually, all those the ones with the scaffolds will all have orange metallic skins on them. So they'll be even easier to see at nighttime in snowstorms and all. All right. Appreciate you coming along. Wanted to show that off and see what y'all were doing. Oh, let's get over here and look at the piranha. I need to show the piranha. That's his latest miner, the piranha. And see, we can make rubber tires now. So pretty soon, the Henny and over here, the Hamel, we'll both be getting rubber tires. And maybe they won't skate around on the ice quite as much. But here is his, the piranha. You see, we're still working on batteries and stuff. And it's going to be fun to watch it down there in the bauxite mine whenever I get that lift finished. And we can lower this down. And it can start drilling out a proper mine. Looking forward to it. Much like that one. So we will see y'all then. We will have more updates that come along and all. And I've still got tons of videos showing our firsts over there on the FiendCorp server, like the first jump we made, and landing on the moon, and fighting off a pirate drone and all. So looking forward to being able to eventually show those off to you too. We'll see you at another point. Y'all have a great one. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.